my homegirl here, Jenn Malecha. I have to give her a proper introduction because you guys know that this show is totally niche to help business owners who want to grow their practice and ultimately thrive instead of just surviving. And Jenn knows about the full spectrum of being a practitioner trying to grow her business. She has been in many, many spaces as a brick and mortar personal trainer who then became a manager of multiple studios, to then pivoting to an online virtual practice, to then being a CMO for a little bit. And then I think she's got practitioner training. She's a speaker, like all kinds of things. She calls herself the holistic health boss. And I'm going to add on the holistic health boss, bitch. You know, I had to. So what's up, Jenn? How you doing, girl?
I'm good. Excited to be here with you.
I know. It's just going to be funny because it really is just two friends talking. Jenn and I have been on the coaching circuit together for quite a while, and I've been blessed to see her evolve. And, like, Jenn, take us back, take us back to when you were just a girl, with a dream and stumbling into entrepreneurship. Like, what was that like? What was that, a decade or more ago?
I mean, really, it started in 6th grade.
Oh, of course. Of course it did. Yes, please.
When I ran for student body president and found myself cutting out 120 dolphins out of poster board because our school mascot was a dolphin. And I wrote on every single one of those little cutouts for Prez, and I glued a little pin on it, and I handed them out at school. So we could really say that my entrepreneurial spirit goes deep.
It is deep rooted, and the competition too. So we're not even going to talk about Jenn's competitive spirit in business. So yes, you've been this bossy lady who, pretty much has been unemployable in many, many ways. You've shown yourself to be independent and kind of the cheese stands alone in a lot of ways, in many, many good ways. So how did you evolve into this entrepreneur you are now? Like, where did it really, really start after your 6th grade hustle?
Yeah. I mean, it really started after I did the typical climb the career ladder through the fitness industry. Like you said, cut my teeth at 24-Hour Fitness. First as a personal trainer, then quickly moved up into management as a fitness manager within like 6 months of starting there. I mean, I was like 24, 25, actually maybe a little bit younger at the time, and running the book of business for the personal training side of the gym. And real quick, landed myself as a general manager role there. And, at the age of 25 was making $75K a year, which back then the equivalent to that now is like $120K.
Yeah, girl, that's a good job. I would have stayed at that good job. I don't know why you left. Crazy.
But it was, basically destroying my health over time and my spirit. I mean, I worked my ass off, and those sales cycles in those industries is so vicious. It's like I would find myself staying until 10 p.m. on the last night of the month.
Of course.
Because the competitiveness of
yes.
My bonus maxed out at 110% of goal. So I would be personally buying the last $500 in supplements to reach up
to get to your goal. Oh my God. Such a schemer.
Would be like $5,000, $5,000 or $10,000. Like, why would I not do that?
Very smart.
And then you'd wake up the next morning completely exhausted, and it started all over again. You're on day 1 of the month and you got to keep hustling. And it just became really hard to keep up with that, not to mention just some of the, politics and structure of working for an organization.
Sure.
And being at the time, the only female general manager in the entire, out of 2, there was 2 of us actually, I should say, in the Southern California region, working in a man's world. At one point in time, my regional manager told me I was too emotional to manage people. And
shoot me. Here we go.
I really knew that something had to change when I was out for a morning run on my typical Thursday, ran down to Mission Bay Park here in San Diego to do my sprints, right? Because that was all about fitness. And when I turned the direction of home, I just started bawling, like crying, because I just couldn't. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't.
Like you hated your job.
I like hated my job. It
Mm-hmm.
literally slowly killing me. But at the time, like entrepreneurism wasn't like in my field of view, right? Like nobody was an entrepreneur back then in the
Right.
like mid 2000s or whatever.
Hell no, we were working. Okay, we're the same age. We had a job. Trust me.
Yeah, and I remember, like, talking to my best friend, Brenda, at the time, um, about, like, just I was, like, thinking creatively, like, "How can I get out of this?" And I was like, I'm gonna go be a personal trainer at hotels," because this was, like, when hotels really started building up, like, gyms, right?
Oh yeah,
Hotels didn't have gyms before, now they all have gyms, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go hit up all the hotels and I'm gonna be their personal trainer there. And I just remember my friend Brenda like looking at me and she goes, Jay, you're crazy. Like, you can't do that. Because it was just like so abnormal to even consider working for yourself.
And I'm over here like that's actually a really good idea. And there's ways that you can approach it. So like
Yes.
to make it make sense. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So I like started staging myself to that process of like, I knew I had to get out of 24-hour fitness. So then I went and worked for like a up and coming kind of like corporate wellness company. Again, like 9 to 5 corporate structure though, but like a break from what I was doing in the fitness industry. And I
Mm-hmm.
started training clients on the side, like
Mm-hmm.
house or like traveling to their house. And um, then moved and worked for another even newer startup corporate wellness company. Like it was literally the founder, me, and one salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
And we built that company from the ground up. I just figured shit out as I went. Like I didn't know what I was doing. And here I am creating like proposals and contracts for like big organizations like the San Diego's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
clients, and learning how to use tech, CRMs, right?
Yeah.
This is where my tech knowledge, where I cut my teeth in tech essentially. And I would leave that job and I had negotiated working like 33 hours a week so I could still get benefits, but also have the flexibility to be building my side hustle,
Your side hustle, which was personal training still.
which was still personal training. And I
Yeah.
was going through my functional health practitioner certification along with all of this and driving like to people's houses to do personal training.
Oh, this sounds like a actual living nightmare. Like a lot of my worst like
Oh, you
thoughts and fears are coalescing.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this into perspective for you because I know you just did this. We have a mutual friend, Sinclair, right?
Yes.
You know where Sinclair lives, and he's
Yes.
from my house now. You just took this drive recently. My office was in where Sinclair lives in Carlsbad, and I was
Uh-uh.
driving back down to central San Diego where my house was and where my clients' houses were. So I was in traffic driving to go
So
train.
hours of your day were sitting in that god awful traffic. It's a beautiful ride, but that Uber damn near hit me for a plane ticket. Okay, going over there. That
Right.
sounds like torture, and it sounds like the story is so good and so bad all at the same time, right? It's good because you learned, you got out of it, you knew what you didn't want anymore. But all of us fucking started with this like
Yeah.
this terrible hustle of just doing the most, not getting enough money, the whole thing. So anyway, so you're driving to Carlsbad and back in a day.
Yeah, and then at some point in time, I somehow figured out negotiating, like, working from home.
Mhm.
So, I started doing that, which made it easier, and the personal training business really started growing on the side, and with that, I finally got my functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner certification, which I know you're heavy jumping
Yes.
on to. And I realized that this was gonna give me more freedom and flexibility because it was something that I could do virtually. So the other side of the personal training stuff, it was a skill that I had that I leaned on
Mhm.
to build a side hustle, but it was also eventually gonna hit its limit. As you know, like, you're still tied to a physical location.
Yep.
And I tried, like, virtual personal training for a hot minute, and I was like, "I hate this. It's so awkward to be on Zoom, like, watching somebody work out and giving instruction," but you still had to have a physical space to do that, to physically show people what they needed to be doing. And I love to travel the world. So I was like, I gotta like give it my all and give into this like concept of having a virtual health practice
Mm-hmm.
and just take the leap, you know? And I remember talking to my husband Jeremy about this, and I was like, I don't know what to do, where to start. And he's like, you need a business plan. And I froze. I
Like,
was
what is that? And why are you asking me this? Yeah.
like, how about I just start taking clients?
Because what you're talking about is not what I'm trying to do. So, how can we figure this out?
That feels really overwhelming. How about I just start helping people and making money? Let's just start there, right? And I just did. I just started doing it, and here we are from that essentially, you know?
So, you started your online health business with no business plan, and I'm sure it was perfect from day one, right?
Oh yeah, it was super perfect.
It you already knew how to do everything and automate and hire people and train people and deliver customer service, and you knew all of that, right? And you had a full team when you started, right? A team of 10 people, I'm sure. Like, isn't this the dream? Like, what really happened?
What really happened? I had actually no idea what I was doing. I mean, luckily, FDN, that program, as you go through it, they give you some idea of what to do as a practitioner and like some kind of structure. So I just kind of like, well, let me take this and figure it out as I go. And it was really just about getting that. I mean, that first client taught me so much. You know, I
Mhm.
was like, okay, cool. I'm going to sell a bundle of lab tests and like 5 or 6 appointments or something and just see how this goes. You know, build the plane while you're flying it, essentially, which is what we say all the time, and figuring it out one step at a time. And um, I reached out to some of my personal training friends, and I was like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I would love
Mhm.
to partner with you and see how we can come together to like help your clients get even greater results." Because I knew their experience as a trainer and like the whole idea of like calories in versus calories out and like eat less, move more is a bunch of bullshit.
I'm so tired.
It's so overdone and doesn't actually work because I had personally struggled with that.
Mhm.
I also had clients that were like getting sick all the time or like getting injured and recognizing that those are just underlying issues of their health that I could now partner with these other trainer friends to like actually help their clients get results, be better clients. Cause if their clients show up to appointments, they're making money.
Yep, yep.
Calling out sick and like injured and not showing up, they're not making money. Right. Help their hustle too. And all it took was one friend of mine, Charles, who was like, "Hey, I'll take you up on this. Let's figure this out." And I was like, "Dude,
Oh,
you
Charles.
yeah." And he's like doing amazing things right now. We're still connected. It's so funny. He's evolved too. But I was like, "Hey, you pay for the lab test. I'll do some pro bono work with you, take you through the experience."
Yeah.
And we helped fix his gut issues through that process. It was illuminating for him. And he referred me one client who then instantly referred me a colleague who referred me his friend, his sister, and then the referral chain
It
just
just
started.
kept yeah, yeah.
It just kept rolling, you know, to the point where real quick I was matching my corporate like what I was making at 24 Hour Fitness, like that 70K.
Mhm.
I was matching that real fast, doing what I love doing.
Within, like, the first year, do you think? Or did it take you a couple years to find your stride?
It once I committed to it, yes, within the first year. So I had like remember been building this, working at this corporate wellness company, kind of building this stuff on the side.
Yeah.
And then I was like, still didn't trust myself, like lacked that confidence to just give it everything and wanted some
Mhm.
stability, which is natural, right?
Sure.
So I actually went and worked for FDN.
Yeah.
That was part of the stepping stone. I was like, "Hey, let me come do some work for you." They hired me as an affiliate marketing manager. I had
I was gonna say, is that on your resume?
no, like, girl, I studied kinesiology in college. I did not study business. I did not study marketing. I did not study communications, but this is just who I am. Like, I'm a connector.
Mhm.
I love to like build relationships and something that I've gotten into lately that's been a useful tool as an entrepreneur is understanding my human design and
Yeah.
leveraging my unique qualities to like get my gifts out into the world. And my profile, I'm a 4-6. I'm a natural leader and a connector. So I had no problem stepping in and connecting with Krista Orecchio and like these big names, Tom O'Brien in the industry, and like building a relationship with them, and then setting up joint venture webinars with FDN to sell FDN.
Oh, wow.
Doing all the marketing with that, which really, when I ran 24-Hour Fitness, I was in charge of member acquisition and retention,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that we're selling personal training packages. So ultimately, I was doing marketing and sales.
All at the same time. That was your first best lesson.
Yeah.
Right?
Coming up with creative strategies to get members in the door to sell memberships, and create an environment at the gym that was engaging so the members would stay, and building relationships with the personal trainers, clients, to help them renew their packages, because trainers suck at selling.
Yeah, totally. They just show up. Yeah.
They just show up. So anywho's, I did that with FDN for a year. They hired me for 30 hours a week or so, and then was really working virtually. And within a year, my practice had grown so much, I had to put in my notice with them.
Yeah. Like your and I've experienced Jenn's healing powers too as a client of hers in her health practice. Really, really unique way of getting to just root cause of a lot of just laboring, stagnant issues that sometimes we don't choose to fix. So I love, this evolution that you've had, Jenn. Now I'm curious, has it always just been great while you've been doing your health practice? Like, has it just been up, 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 up the whole way? Like, where have you felt stuck in the past few years? Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely been phases and stages of it. I think that, my dad raised me to our rule in our house, if we joined a sports team or anything like that, was if you're committed to it, you're going to see it through, even if you hate it the whole time, you know? And so there's been times when I definitely have thought maybe I should just go back and work for somebody else. It would be so much easier to do that than have to deal with this. In the beginning, I attracted a lot of the wrong clients into my business, but that was a learning experience.
The wrong clients will take you down.
They're so energy exhausting.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've also had people that would enroll, pay me $5,000 and then ghost me. That's insane to me,
People just got money. I need those people.
Yeah. Here I am, feeling like I have to deliver value. So I would send them a million emails and follow up with them. And then eventually just realize it's not on me, it's on them at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And making mistakes, even in terms of marketing and the language. Couple years into being a practitioner, I ran into more health issues with mold in our house, and then was triggered Hashimoto's and thyroid stuff. And all of a sudden, I started attracting people, clients into my business that had a victim mentality.
Oh God, those are even worse.
Yeah, it's dragging a lead weight, right? And I had to take a step back and go what am I putting out there?
Yeah, to get this type of energy back
into my business.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And when I went and looked at how I was showing up in the world and how I was talking about my health stuff, and the, just the vibration of those words that I was using, I was like, oh, this is me. Or, this is anything that's going on in our business, by the way, you guys, is always a reflection of you.
Yep.
So the second that I changed that, it changed the trajectory, instantly.
Yeah. So now with your business, Holistic Health Boss, which is the health practice, I mean, you're not a solopreneur. You absolutely, I was joking earlier, but you have people that help you. You've scaled the business. How has it what was it like when you started just alone, and now you've got folks, and you actually now help other folks set up their online practices too? So kind of give us some info about that.
Yeah. Well, when I got to about 5 clients, I realized it wasn't scalable, all the manual work. So I instantly recognized the need to template, delegate, and automate specifically everything that I was doing. And this is where I drew from my experience in the corporate wellness company, working with a CRM. And really having to work with it from an account manager standpoint. Like a lot of people know CRMs from a sales and marketing perspective, but I had to use it in this whole different way of like automating the admin and the operation side of working with our clients, the account manager side of the corporate wellness thing, like working with the San Diego Zoo and managing their entire year of programming and contacts in there. And so I was like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to automate my business, which was a huge reliever of time. Like then the system, the software is just doing everything for you, right? That was an investment of time and energy. It took me about 6 months to build that, and then 6 months to test and tweak it to optimize it. So now, yes, we offer that to other practitioners so that people like to quicken that time, take a year to automate their practice. They want it like now, essentially, right? But then, I still have a very small team, so I just started to notice what are the things I hate doing that aren't a good use of my time.
Right.
I was the one reconciling my books once a month. I hated it.
Oh God. I barely even like checking my text messages. So I'm not reconciling books. Get somebody else to do it.
Yeah. And I love numbers. I absolutely love numbers, but I was like, this is awful. And it was taking me like 3 hours a month to do it. And I was like, I could be making $200 an hour for these 3 hours. And I could pay somebody $50 an hour who could probably do it in like a fraction of
like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. So that was the first thing that I hired was a bookkeeper. I was like, this ain't worth my time. Somebody else reconcile my books. And that was huge. Opened everything up, right? And then I started to pay attention. What are the other things that are a nuisance that are just like not a good use of my time? And a lot of the admin operation side of what I was doing, like sending out my newsletters, putting up the blog on my website, all these things that we do as a solopreneur. So the next person that I hired was a VA, virtual assistant.
Yep.
And if I were to give my virtual assistant a title, it would definitely be like manager of operations. Like now that person does everything ops on the backside for me, essentially. So I still create my marketing content. I actually enjoy like crafting emails and that type of stuff, but I hand it over to somebody else to do all the systems tech side of it, which frees up my time. And that virtual assistant, I hired that person in at 5 hours a week. She still only works 5 hours a week for me.
Oh, even as the business has grown.
Yeah, even as the business has grown, because as we've worked together, we've found ways to work more efficiently, right? Whether we're leveraging like Asana, like our project management software, or we're leveraging our CRM to do stuff. Like we've been able to put like operations in place that help us work more efficiently. So I've been able to add more things to her plate for her to do within the same amount of time because we just have systems in place. And that's all been built over time. Like I didn't know how to do this.
Right.
And I just like, I didn't have shit together. I just was like, hey, jump on a Zoom with me. And while I'm doing this, I'm basically training you. Remember back in the day when you used to like work in an office and you would shadow people?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
To learn the job. That's essentially what I did. I just had my VA like shadow me. And then I was like, you write the instructions now, you own it, you run with it, get it off my plate, basically.
And you're a really good delegator though, I think, generally speaking. And sometimes entrepreneurs have such a chokehold on their business or certain activities in their business, or just aren't trusting anyway. And you definitely can't grow. I don't care what your business model is. Being a solopreneur is not the move for growth, for scale, for, for evolving, for opportunities. So you recognize early, I don't want to do this stuff. Let me hire out. And you kept your team small while you've grown. Yeah. So, there's theories that, as you scale and you get to, you get to a portion of your business where you're happy or it's thriving and it's, the systems are working, that's when you can start to add on additional income streams. So you've done that, right, over the course of the past few years. So now what's the whole Jenn ecosystem for entrepreneurship and health?
Yeah. Great question. And, first I really like nailed down that one-on-one high ticket client work because that
Mhm.
is like, it's the fastest path to cash and financial stability. And so once that thing was like basically on autopilot, that gave me the mental freedom and space and financial freedom to now bring in other lines of revenue. So my health practice, I brought in group programs from
Mhm.
that perspective and started running those things. And then eventually everything was just on autopilot. And I never thought that I would become a business mentor, advisor, coach, whatever.
Because you didn't know how to do business.
Yeah. Like I knew. And people just started reaching out to me. And I was like, yeah, I love to help other people. And looking back, that's what I always did, like help these
Sure.
trainers at the gym. And so I was like, let me get paid for sharing my wisdom. My health business is like running on its own because I got things locked down over there and brought in the business coaching side of it. And then within the business coaching umbrella of what I do, we now have like 5 different streams of revenue in there, but it started with one. Like it just started with one. And then as you work with that one, 2 things happen as you recognize the need for the next thing and you create these loyal customers
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
want more from you.
Sure. Yeah.
So we recognize in the business coaching side of what we did, especially the first thing that we came to market with was helping practitioners automate their practice. And it was a live cohort. We did it together and we recognized all the bumps and like what was happening. And I was like, holy crap, like these guys don't know their niche or their packaging, which is making this other system stuff harder to figure
Because they're selling something different to everybody every time because they have no protocols and things. Yeah.
exactly.
Heard this story a few
Yeah.
times, but yeah.
So I was like, they need this other part. So then I developed the business essentials, which that's actually a prerequisite now to go into our systems and automation program because it's so much easier when you know your niche, your packaging and your pricing, like
Mhm.
how to actually have sales calls. What are you going to say on there?
Mhm.
What you're delivering every step of the way when you're working with somebody. So that came out of it. And then we had these like people still needed help with us, like after they went through these 2 programs. So then we developed our alumni program
Yeah.
where people stay in there for years. And then we were like, how do we, reach more people? What's something smaller that we can offer to create more touch points with people that will eventually bring them into our whole journey together?
Mhm.
And my masterclass and my workshops came about. And yeah, so now that side of the business has 5 different revenue streams.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, how do you do both though? Like, because they're both just on easy, on automated, on autopilot? Oh my god. Are you is this like an AI avatar of you right now? Like, how are you how are you do
Yeah, in 10 places at 10 times, right?
Right.
It really a lot of it is. So I just love the template, delegate, automate. And the way that my brain works is like I'm always thinking about everything efficiently. You're gonna laugh at me. So mine
God.
is very different. I'm a zero inboxer. Like I like
I'm a 40,000 inboxer. They're all bold, all unread.
yeah. And so I'm always thinking about what's the fastest, most effective way to do something, even when I'm doing my self-care routines and in my house. So I am the kind of person that is sitting in the sauna, wearing a castor oil pack and meditating all at the same time,
Yeah,
right? Like
I get that. That makes sense. Yeah.
when I walk through my house in my brain, I'm thinking about the most efficient way to go from the kitchen to the bedroom.
You're such a weirdo.
I'm such a weirdo. And like, what are the things, like if there's clutter, like what are the things that I'm picking up along the
Along the way, you're such a dork. Oh my god.
But like this is the skill set that I get to lend to other people because
No, keep that.
clearly not everybody has this
Keep
skill
you
set.
can keep that, okay?
Yeah. So this is an insight to how my business runs and how these businesses operate without me is that it's like, what is the path of efficiency and effectiveness? And my health business is on autopilot. I have a wait list only. I only work with the most qualified people in that space. I love doing that work, the health work with clients. Just had the most amazing discovery call with a woman earlier this week. And it's really important to me too to like stay in that space, to be boots on the ground, in the practitioner experience to coach from that space. Like I just think about like working in those corporate constructs before where, us, the boots on the ground people would say how our regional managers like didn't understand because they were so disconnected from the day-to-day operations of the business. And I don't ever want anybody to say that about me besides
Right.
the work.
Right.
So yeah, that both businesses are just, I mean, it's still small teams, like even in the business coaching side of what I do, like I have 2 assistants, I would say maybe 3 actually, 3 assistants that are all very niched into what their little thing is. We have a bookkeeper over there and that's it to run that, multi 6-figure business. And then in my health coaching business, yeah, I've got social media assistant, VA,
The whole thing.
oh, and an intern. I'm an intern over there too, which is actually a really funny story how I got an intern.
I was going to say, you're fancy with you say it so casually.
Yeah, it was like, this is how it came about is I was in Belize in a van with my friend. We were on this retreat. So we flew into San Ignacio and we're taking a van up to the retreat center. And I'm in this van on my computer using my template, like writing up the summary of somebody's test results.
Okay.
And recommendations. So I'm like working
Yeah.
in this van in the middle of the jungle of Belize. And my friend, who's also very entrepreneurial as well, she goes, "Why are you doing that? Isn't that like something that you could just put in a template and hire somebody to do?"
Ooh, and there it started.
And there it was, because it was already a template. Like I had already templated how I do the lab test summaries and the recommendations. I'd been growing this massive template and I was literally just like deleting and slightly editing stuff. I was like, damn, I could totally teach somebody else how to do this.
At scale. And you did. And this is a big pain point. So the practitioners that are listening that are just like tech challenged or refuse to lean into more efficient and faster and better ways to run their practice, I'm going to challenge you, and you'll have to go over to the show notes so you can see Jenn's programs and stuff, because it just doesn't make any sense that any of us are out here, sending follow-up emails and sending reminders and manually reaching out when we can still make it look and feel personal, just in a more automated and efficient way. So even for like my husband, Jamal, who he is just starting his online health practice, we are absolutely using Jenn's templates and her systems, hooking it up. So as soon as somebody purchases, there's this cascade of communication that just makes working with you so easy. Entrepreneurs usually fuck this up. Usually they do. They don't have the tools or aren't thinking at scale. You have to think beyond one client. You have to think beyond 5 clients. You have to think to your moonshot, your wildest dreams, your big vision. And what is that? And what systems do you need? And we don't have to hire a bunch of people when we can actually put systems in. And so I appreciate that with Jenn, that she's evolved as an entrepreneur, but also learned systems and put those things in place so she could scale. Remember, she said, team stayed small. Numbers grew, but the team stayed small. So what's up next for Holistic Health Boss and your business brands? Like what's next?
What's next is I really want to get out there and help more health practitioners in this space have a sounding board and a foundation for operating an efficient and effective business that really allows them to take better care of themselves and really have the impact that they want to have. Because here's the thing that I see all the time in this industry working with these health practitioners is that, they became a functional health practitioner because they encountered their own health journey, health situation that led them to this space. And then they develop this functional health, practice or business, and they're still just burning themselves into the ground, like sacrificing their health and for others. And we just can't operate that way anymore. Like you can't serve from an empty cup, and you're not doing your best work for your clients. You're actually not helping people when you're coming from that place. And now with the evolution of the industry, there's a lot of noise out there, and I see so many people getting caught up in like things that they think that they should be doing that aren't really the right aligned thing for them, and creating community and collaboration. So I'm currently working on getting off the ground an association, the Health Intelligence Business Association, where these functional, integrative, holistic health practitioners can come in to community with each other, to have a sounding board with me and experts that I'm going to bring in like you for, ethical, proven business practices like leadership development, being able to expand their professional network to help each other raise a collective voice about what health really means, and get that out into the world, essentially. So I'm excited for that next. That's the next iteration, next thing that's happening.
The next thing, the next income stream, the next way to build awareness and community and brand and all the stuff. So you guys, listen, like Jenn shared, she was the corporate hustler like many of us were, self-evolved entrepreneur, self-taught like most of us are, not everybody can get in masterminds and stuff like that to learn, right? And this is just yet another example of how you have to go with the ebbs and flows as your business creates its identity, as your business is growing as its own unique thing. So if you know that, I say this because our audience is healers and practitioners, and they know that this is their mission and this is their calling, stay the course. Stay the course. Watch your business evolve. Maybe you have a practitioner training in you like Jenn did. Hers was more focused on the business side. Maybe yours is a certification for your methodology or for your protocols. Maybe you'll start with the high ticket one-on-one like Jenn did and then add in the group programs. Allow yourself time to for your business to feel all the feels, right? Don't just get caught up after one pitfall or one thing slips. So thank you, Jenn, for teaching us today so many lessons about, how to keep growing your business and keep it tight, all at the same time and make a lot of impact along the way. So Jenn, let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, I love to hang out on Instagram. It's my favorite place.
It is. She's there a lot.
It's there a lot. So that's one of the great ways to connect with me, at Holistic Health Boss on Instagram. I also have my business coaching at Health Boss Institute as well too, but I kind of do a blend of both on Holistic Health Boss. And also I've got a great newsletter that goes out as well too through Holistic Health Boss and healthbossinstitute.com. So come find me. Let's hang out together.
Yes, let's play. And you guys can hop over to the show notes at microsite.com to catch all the fun little links so you can follow Jenn on social media. And make sure that you like, share, follow, and subscribe to this podcast everywhere the podcasts are available and on YouTube as well. See you next time. Thanks, Jenn. Bye. Hey, y'all, thanks for tuning in to Power Moves Health Marketing Podcast. If you're ready to transform your practice with smarter strategies and cutting-edge tools, I want you to head over to microsite.com to book a strategy session with me and my team. While you're there, check out the show notes for links, resources, and my free Power Moves playbook. Remember, every move you make is a step toward becoming the health business leader you're meant to be. Let's keep building your momentum.